And welcome to Light the Sky, episode 3 of our Boston journey. Third stage, an album 6 to 8 years in time in terms of when Don't Look Back came out, and 6 years supposedly in production, and how much of that was spent in the courtroom and how much is reflected on the record. That's what we're here to debate tonight. The four of us live on Twitch again. Welcome back, Twitch viewers. We'll be happy to man the comment section for this one because it's going to be spicy, I think. Make sure you've got some milk, some water. The hot takes are probably going to be flying because this album is going to be a fun one. Last one was great, too. Don't Look Back. I think we had that was a riot at the end. But we'll catch up on that. We want to jump into that right now. We'll try to stick with the music, but we'll see how it goes. So tonight, I got Kevin on, I've got Chris on, got Alex and myself hosting you, bringing you track by track, album by album, some of the greatest discographies that have ever been released. We're already talking our next one, and it's going to be fun to decide that. Thinking 80s this time. I've been on a bit of an 80s kick myself. We've been screening some 80s movies in my theater, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but thinking 80s next time, because we're out of the 80s now, or out of the 70s with Boston. We are right in the second half of the 80s already. We skipped right over all the good stuff to land on 1986. What was big in 1986? I didn't even think about what I was going to say here. Top grossing movies. Let me look it up. In 1986,
Top Gun?
It had to be Top Gun because the era of 1986, Reagan is already well into his second term. He's already been shot. Like the Soviet Union, like Gorbachev is like the thing. Top Gun, top grossing movie. Crocodile Dundee, no idea. Platoon, of course. Karate Kid Part 2. We've already been through Part 1 since Boston. Star Trek 4.
David Foster and Peter Cetera.
Wait, did you say you've never heard of Crocodile Dundee? I'm talking to you, Mark.
I have not.
I've seen it a long time ago. Yeah.
Well, I know, but that's I'm not saying it's like a masterpiece, but I'm kind of surprised. It's kind of a classic.
Star Trek 4 was on the top 10 box office?
It is. It's number 5 on Star Voyage Home. Back to School, Aliens, The Golden Child, rounding out. Let's say top selling albums. This one is a 4X Platinum album.
What would you be blasting in your IROC?
Yeah, what do you think? Chris, you know this one. Your IROC Z, what do you got? Playing, what's in your cassette deck? Chris, you'll know this one.
What, in 86?
86, top selling album.
I have
there was True Blue from
There
Madonna.
you go, Chris.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Yeah. Good,
yep.
Nice.
True Blue, number 1. Slippery When Wet, good old Bon Giovanni. 16 million sales in
Back when
1986.
And then I think Invisible Touch, was 86.
It is on the list.
So I think it was 86, but that didn't...
Master of Puppets also on the list.
Yeah.
Slippery When Wet, Graceland, Controlled by Janet Jackson, Top Gun soundtrack, of course.
Yeah.
Licensed to Ill.
Cinderella Night Songs.
Oh, the first one, that's the other
first
debut,
Poison
right?
record.
Yep.
There's some stuff coming
4.
out.
Whoa, Cro-Mags, Age of Quarrel, of course.
Okay, so here's round now. 22, 23, and 24. 22, 4, Huey Lewis in the News. 24, Theater of Pain by Motley Crue, one of their best, right? And third stage, Boston, ringing up number 23 in the year. Probably not so bad considering it was released towards the end of the year. So let's see what we think of this one. We've got 2 superpower debuts, or 1 superpower album, and 1, depending on whether or not you connected with it early or first or whatever, it's still a solid album. It fits within the language of the artist, of Tom. He brought us some more of that stuff. So he's going to do it for the third album, you'd think? No. He doesn't. I'm going first tonight. This album is rough. And there's something funny. We'll get to this by track, but I kept wanting to call this album Amanda because it's really the only thing I remembered. And because it just hits you in the face right off with the ballad, the number 1 hit, the biggest hit of the band. And I found that this album has a bit of the Piper at the Gates of Dawn syndrome. If you remember when we covered that album from Pink Floyd, Kevin was mystified on there were no bad reviews on this album. He didn't understand it. He didn't understand why. That's where I am with this one.
I hated it.
I don't. It seems to be it's not getting great reviews, but everybody's just like, yeah, it's Boston. It's pretty good. I think this probably might be the worst sounding album ever to go quadruple platinum. Ever.
I'm gonna wait to get to my, because I have
there's
a lot
probably
to say about
something worse out there, but in terms of everything we've covered, for somebody who is known for their production quality, for their perfection, for holding themselves up in the studio and refusing to release despite the record company banging on it and sending the DEA or the ATF with their battering ram to go bash down his studio door and get some tapes.
He's too busy changing bulbs.
What did he end up putting out? He put out this 8 years. Now, this is so crazy because I like to talk about, I love these shows because it's like capturing a moment in time, and it's like we're going back in time to 76. And just imagine if you were a freshman in 76. You couldn't drive yet, but these songs were all over the radio. Maybe you went to your high school dance, or your first girlfriend, or whatever. It's great memories associated with that first Boston album. Album 2, 78, just 2 years. Now you're a junior in high school. You've got your driver's license. You're driving you got the T-tops off. You're popping in the tape. Like maybe you're making requests on the radio. I don't know. Like and like
in the heart of the malaise era.
Yeah. It's a lousy car, but you're a teenager. It's all great at that point. And you have Don't Look Back, and you still have enough material on that. Now fast forward 8 years. 8 years. Think about that. If you're 14, 18, or 16, now you are 24. And in 1986, you were 24. You're probably married. You might even be divorced. You probably got a kid or two. You've probably started and kicked a cocaine habit. You probably had 3 career changes. You're like, Boston? I remember Boston. I couldn't even drive when I heard Boston. That's crazy. I think it's the longest album gap we've ever had that excludes like late career stuff, like Metallica many years later, Pink Floyd, with Endless River. That doesn't count. That's ridiculous. And the big problem with that is my biggest disappointment with this album, the band as a whole, is that we never got to experience the evolution of Boston through all of the great sounds of the early 1980s, the new timbres available for everybody to explore and synthesize with the keyboard, the new production techniques. There's so much there that we could have had, but we didn't. And when you put out music, you can evolve. When you can tweak things, you can get feedback. You can understand what works and what doesn't and bring it into your sound. And you know what? We never got that. So, Tom, you should have spent more time releasing music and less time in the courtroom. This album gets a 0.5.
Oh, the opening blow.
That's a first.
He just unloaded
That's a first
a
in the
nuke.
history. That's the first in the history of this podcast.
We're just starting out with the launch key. I don't believe it.
People are going to be leaving. I don't care. It's a show of opinions, and I'm not starting off with the good one. I think Amanda's all right.
I think Mark needs to get some water after that rant. And,
yeah, I've got another rant. If you enjoyed that rant, I've got another one saved up for later, which has more musical examples than just me talking. I've got some good musical examples to play. Take you through time a little bit. Hop in the DeLorean with me right around track 7 or 8 when we get to that. But Alex, you're up.
I'm up? Okay. Well, I guess the only songs that I knew off of this album were Amanda and Cool the Engines, Mark's favorite Boston song. Thanks to the Boston Greatest Hits that I've already talked about was my introduction to the band. I feel like I had read some reviews as well where, people were like, Boston fans after 8 years or whatever, like they spoke highly of it. I remember listening to it, and it's like, yeah, the production was kind of the same. You kind of expected more after 8 years, and especially with kind of how much like sonic experimentation and stuff were going on in the 80s. You feel that Tom kind of being at the ahead of that would kind of be at the head of it in the 80s too, but if anything, it's kind of just doing the same thing. But there are some moments on this album where I can compare riffs and guitar tones to other bands. A huge band that we've covered before that I heard, which I think I've actually compared them on one of the first 2 records, But a record that came out in, I think, 88 or 89, I heard some stuff from that band that I heard here. And then a band that was pretty massive in the early 80s. I heard some riffage that sounded very similar to one of their big hits. So maybe not as influential as Tom has been in the past. But I will say I don't dislike the record. It's going to be my least favorite Boston record so far. There's one song that I absolutely hate on here. I listen to it and it makes me kind of uncomfortable, and I don't like it. And you'll
Feeling
have to figure
satisfied?
out. You'll have
Like
to figure out what you'll have to figure out which one that is. I'm sure you already know what I'm going to give it. But it's kind of like the first song where I was like kind of appalled. Like I really didn't enjoy it. But then there's one song where I'm like, okay, I'm glad I listened to this record because I have maybe a new Boston Lifer song on this. A lifer on this album. Yeah, one that I was not aware of. I'll tell a little bit of a story about it when we get there, but. Yeah, definitely. It's kind of in the middle. I'm going to give it a generous 5.5 out of 10 here. Some of the songs, like there's catchy parts of it, but then you listen to it and it's like, okay, well, it's nothing great. But then there's stuff that's like really bad, and I feel like, well, I can kind of take the good since some of the bad is so bad. That like the mediocre really stands out. So yeah, overall I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. I am interested in some of these diehard Boston fans speaking so highly of it and saying it's like a mature record and stuff. And maybe I just need to listen to it more. I will say it definitely grew on me. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times, and I was starting to like it more and more each time. But yeah, there's some bad production choices on this. I don't know if I go as far as a 0.5, but I appreciate the passion. So we'll see where it goes.
I feel like I want to have a show where I just argue with YouTube commenters and who will be on the 8th song of this record and just be like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest Boston. I love the dark Boston." Just yucking up.
Well,
yeah.
I want to.
You can find it for everything, I guess.
Where does Chris throw in his lot? I am so interested.
I feel like Chris is he's got something prepared for this one.
He's got his poker face on. I feel like he might be holding a straight flush.
He's kind of implied that he had to pull over when he was listening to this album.
Yeah,
in fear of crashing the car.
No, yeah, there's
so bad.
There's a little bit of that, but I want to start out by saying that there were a number of moments on there that genuinely got stuck in my head that I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, it's like this is. Yeah, but that's okay. So I'm going to end that as far as the positives. It's funny as far as what this album reminds me of. It's like somebody like working for a car company that's designing a car in a specific year, and for whatever reason gets into a lawsuit. Who knows what? Whether it was personal embezzlement or whatever. But he's still there. He's still trying to hang on to whatever he's got. But he's not really tinkering with the product. That the years are going by, and it's still like he's still just like, no, this is. I'm just gonna focus on just getting this. This is my vision. This is my idea. I'm gonna. Okay, then you've got. Okay, then 80. Okay, we're 78, 79, 80, 81. Okay, then 81 gives to 82. And then like, okay, and then we're getting way out of the AOR era at this point. And then all of a sudden it's 86. And you have an album that sounds like 81, 82 generously without any...
Generously.
Yeah, without any... I mean, I'm listening to this, I'm like, would I have liked it more if it would have come out? Because you talk about records, like, would it have been a better record if it would have come out like the same when Foreigner was at their peak, or REO Speedwagon? Would it have... Maybe a little bit. Again, I think because again, there were some of these songs I genuinely enjoyed it. But yeah, there is a lot of schlock here, a lot of massive cheese, but there is that Boston DNA that's still kind of there. That, I mean, you can say what you want about Tom, but he is cold and calculated, even when you don't want it. He's like that, one of those brain amoebas or whatever that get in and they slowly kind of.
Well, one thing I was going to say real quick. Sorry to cut you off, Chris, but I kind of knew it on the last record, even though I love that record so much, and it was only the second record, so that's why I was a little lenient about saying it. But now that I'm on the third record and I'm starting to kind of put the pieces together, where I almost don't even know if this is totally Tom's fault, because and I'll explain why I think that. But I'm starting to think the guy is a one-trick pony. He can really only write one type of song. He only knows how to make his band sound one kind of way. And when he put the first record out, it was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't expect it to get big, and then he did. And then he's like, shit, well, okay, now I got to keep this thing going. I don't know what else to do. I fooled everybody on that first record, but now I don't know how to, keep being influential.
Yeah, but I mean, he could have at least, with the
he's had a lot of time to learn.
Yeah, but, I mean, at least it's why did he keep his head buried in 81, 82? Why? I mean, because 81 to 86, I mean, that's a lifetime in music, especially in that era.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's for any scene. I mean, from 87 to 92, that's 5 years. It's almost unrecognizable. I mean, when the Seattle scene blew up, I mean, it's but even in 81, I mean, it's got that dry early 80s production doesn't work in 86. That's the height. Again, the albums that you were listing, Mark, I mean, those are all the big kind of bam, they were blowing the speakers. You just feel it all.
Thriller has already been released, and they're almost making bad.
One of the doorsteps of bad.
It's so interesting too, because the guy has had so much time off. He's had so much music and different recording techniques and different sounds and so much stuff to study while he's just hiding in his little bunker.
Yeah, you would
think you expect that he's just going to come out and blow everybody away, take all that knowledge that he's learned, and it's even worse than the Don't Look Back. It's he backpedaled even more.
Well, here's the thing is that when you release music, you can experiment with that kind of stuff. I mean, you can't do that and not release music.
Right, and that's pretty much his wheelhouse. I mean, this is a guy who prided himself on being a studio musician. You'd think he would have taken advantage of every innovation that was coming out as the years went on. I mean, this is almost unacceptable. And I feel bad because, again, it's there's a lot of man, if some of these songs would have just had that 86, 87 production, maybe it would have set... Maybe it would have really, because again, there's there's at least half of the songs are here. I mean, there were at least 5 of the songs on here I genuinely enjoyed, and I was just mad that it didn't have that. Yeah, because I mean, that mid to late 80s period is some of my favorite music. I mean, a lot of my favorite albums are from that era, and I'm just what is this? I mean, this sounds it's you don't have to compete with the AOR bands anymore because they're pretty much gone at this point. You're who are you writing music for? Who are you?
Sounds like REO.
But it's weird because, again, it sold 4 or 5 million copies. I mean, they did a sold-out arena tour, so I don't know if Boston was just this band that just it was in everybody's DNA. It didn't matter. But again, that becomes a problem, though, because then again, you're just looking at at the logo on the album and just kind of...
continue that, it just makes the debut so much more impressive to give you 10 years of momentum across completely different musical.
Right.
And 8 years from now, it's going to be way different. Kurt Cobain has already died, right?
By the time the next album, which we'll get it. Yeah, which is, and that's the thing we can end when we end the discography, talking about as far as just how they managed to...
Mm-hmm. So what's your number, Chris? Where are you, closer to Alex? You closer to me?
Maybe closer to... Because it's funny, that first listen, I'm like, okay, this is just I'm done with this. I'm gonna go listen to some synth pop. But then then on the second listen, I'm like, okay, I can hear these songs bouncing right after I turn it off. I can hear them bouncing back in my head. Okay, so I'm gonna give it, just because I don't, how do I do this? Yeah, because I know 6.5 is typically my re-listen. Where it's that, I wouldn't necessarily, but there's some moments where but I think because of the production, I think I have to hit it a little harder negatively.
That's fair.
Because it's still a rough album to listen to. It's I'd love to see them just do a massive remix or remastering of the record and just pump it up a little bit then maybe. But again, based on the original, I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10.
The highest score yet. Kevin, what direction are you going?
Well, I figured I would also get my statement out of the way in the beginning, and I was gonna do it. I'm gonna throw Tom a bone and do it in a way that he would understand. The charges against this album are egregious. They are as follows. Too many ballads, opening and closing the album with ballads, not having not one, but two songs as the title of a woman's name, creation of the same songs but in a deficient manner. The songs sound like demos. The mixing is worse. The performances are uninspired. Boston used to be the sun shining on a carefree youth, and now it's gray, cloudy, and depressing. They weren't always going to stay young, but the songs and the rest of the production didn't have to go away because of it. And I'll tell you one other thing. There's been a few albums during this whole run of this podcast that have gotten me angry. Like, actually angry. And I was doing the usual mow the lawn in suburbia with the sun shining, and this should have been perfect.
It's summer, by the way, for those of you listening in winter. Summer.
And you know what? The more this album went on, the more mad I got. I could not believe it. I don't understand this album. For me. I do not understand this album. The more I think about it, the more I think of how lazy it is. And like, in the worst way, like, you spent how many hours of how many years cutting tape to put out the garbage drum production sound that is that? Is that so like, bad. And apparently some of those are real drums. I've heard fake drums by 86 fake drums sound better than your garbage real drums. I mean, think about this. Mr. Perfectionist himself, like the guy known for being perfectionist, Mutt Lange, put out 3 AC/DC albums, a Foreigner album, a Cars album, before this guy put out a single album, and we got this pile of, like, it is pile of poop. Like, I just cannot believe it. He rips off himself. Like, it just boggles the mind. You know what? Let's just rehash Amanda. Not only that, let's open with a ballad. Let's close with a ballad. Let's stuff a couple ballads in there. Let's do a useless instrumental track. Let's do another useless instrumental track. Let's take out all the rock. Let's make Brad sound like he's singing in like a metal room and make him sound emotionless. And after all that's done, let's brag about how we don't have synthesizers. I'm sorry, Tom. Maybe the synthesizers would have helped you here, because in all that time you developed a Rockman, and by 1986 people are using it better than you.
I have examples.
Think about that.
Yeah. I have evidence to present.
ZZ Top.
I heard some ZZ Top on this.
They already released like 2. I mean, one was only recorded with the Rockman, which I think the Eliminator. No, not Eliminator. It was Afterburner, which was with the that was the year before. The guys are using your equipment better than you, and then you storm into 86 and you give us this junk. Like, are you kidding me, Mr. Producer? What were you even hearing? Where's the bass? Where's any of the feeling in this? Seriously, he's busy changing bulbs. In the liner notes, he changed 186 bulbs. I think you got an electrical problem, Tom. Give me a break.
You know what's funny
in his studio
when you think about it. I mean, I know to make that album, I know it wasn't the 8 years, but it was still about 4 years. You would thinking what Def Leppard went through. I mean, their drummer lost his arm.
They re-recorded their songs twice. Def Leppard.
Yeah, and they lost.
Drummer lost an arm. Tom's still sitting there cleaning tape.
Yeah, and
he's got all of his appendages.
Yeah. And again, because I think Phil Collins used the Rockman right on Hysteria. I think.
Yeah. They both did.
Look what they did. Yeah, and that's a testament to that.
That's why you have, like, no matter what it is, as an artist, like, we're going long on this intro here, but it just the key takeaway is that you have to put stuff out there. You just do, whether it's film. Like, I've worked with filmmakers that have taken 7 years to release a 5-minute short film. And I admit that I'm guilty of it myself too at times. You just have to. It's just no other way around it.
One thing about it. Then I'll let you get your scoring, Kevin. Thinking as far as just working on your craft and kind of just keeping up the momentum. I was thinking back to the Eagles documentary with Glenn Frey talking about the early days of the band and watching. I think they lived in the same building that Jackson Browne lived in, and he was talking about just listening to Jackson just working on songs day after day, just hours and hours and hours and hours, and he's like, oh yeah, elbow grease, just writing songs and just. Yeah, you don't sit back. You don't working. Yeah, and actually working at building your body of work. Yeah, versus and I think this is a perfect example of it. It's weird. It's like you can hear moments underneath all, but it's like but all the baggage here is really hard not to excuse.
Like even with the songs that are good. Like how much A, do they sound like Don't Look Back demos?
Yeah.
And B, how much do you wish they were recorded in 76 and 78 because you know they'd be 10 times better? It's like you're getting served a mediocre product here and you're expected to yuck it up. And I'm sorry, but it stinks. Okay. Yeah, but I'm
4 million.
Right into us. Please.
Well, the question now is it better than Merck's 0.5?
Is it all youth? It's a 2. That's what it is.
Okay. Wow.
All right. 6, 5.5, 2, and 0.5. Chris is the leader. We'll be clawing him down. And maybe Chris and Alex will team together and try to bring a bit of
Chris and Alex are going to look like people who can't blow up balloons by the end of the show.
Yeah, I'm not going to put up a bloody fight, but because I
6 is a bold number when you've got people pulling 2s.
I felt like I said there were songs, like 2 or 3 songs after, or maybe even 4 after I turned the album off that were just like bouncing around in my head. I'm sorry, I don't know. And again, maybe I should.
I don't need to apologize.
Yeah, and maybe I should maybe I should slag it a little bit more. Yeah, because it's like it's not. This is the one moment where it's like, no, this isn't right. That it's them enjoying it as much based on as far as the main antagonists in this discussion have brought up, and there are a lot of good points. I'm not going to say that. Yeah, they're right. And I immediately. Again, the production.
Chris, just take it to the track by track. We'll get it there. We'll get it there. Kevin, take it away. Amanda.
We have the pleasure of starting off with a ballad. Amanda, starting at 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
This is really, again, probably like the dictionary definition of like the cold and calculated that you wanna like. Okay, there's nothing really interesting about this song. I mean, it's very, but again, it's perfect for it's got those.
Well, maybe that's why.
I like to call those science lab like hooks where it's like they're just built. There's nothing warm. There's nothing organic about it. It's just kind of like, all right, we know this is gonna. It's the kind of stuff that record labels they hear and they're like, yes, this is going to make us, it's going to allow me to buy my third yacht or whatever. Yeah, this is
it's the safe first single back after 8 years off.
It was the first one written too, I believe, 1980 or something like that.
I can't remember, but again, this is kind of the era of like what did we have, like the same year we had Carrie from Europe. I think the next year, I think we had Sarah from Starship, and then
Sarah was before this.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Yep. So again, it's just following and then you had
Rosanna by Toto.
Yeah, which was 82. Okay, that is okay because that sounds like that era. It sounds like 82 in 82. Where here it's like okay, like all right. The only thing why people are kind of it's hooky. That's the only reason that a lot of people are giving it a pass. But again, the production is of that era. And there's one part when I heard it, it was like an arrow through my brain, because it was like I've heard that 2 or 3 notes somewhere, and I didn't actually have to think about it that time. Yeah, Kevin, if you could play at 50 seconds. I mean, it's repeated, but and then I'm gonna upload a link into the. Okay, pause it. Okay, I can just upload the link into the.
Put it in. Oh, into SyncTube, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then just hit enter, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm bringing it up to the top. Elton John.
Yeah. If you could play at 102.
Okay. I got to move this all the way. We got 10 songs here. Thanks, Tom.
But yeah, this is like one of those where I'm like, and this is not the only time he repeats this line, like musically, like this melodic.
Let me play
line.
that again, just so it's back in my head. Hang on.
Okay, that's
you're
it.
looking for Elton John. Where?
102.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me get here. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it drove me nuts. I heard that, and he does it somewhere else. Yeah. But again, there it's like, but I'm like, he couldn't even. It's like their number one hit, and what it rips off. Yeah, somebody saved my life tonight, and that just it's very brief, but it's so deeply like invested in that line. It just like
It doesn't bother me too much, but on this record, this is the song. It's remotely tolerable. I mean, it's you can tell it was written for 82, and it's all right for that. And I want to play the chorus here. I'm gonna take you by surprise and make you realize it's that Amanda.
Yeah,
that really works. It makes it the hook. Not in that one, but in the second time around. But if let's just listen to the bass on this right here. I'm gonna tell you right away, I can't wait another day, Amanda. That's all right. Like, it's just plodding along. It's okay. And I could tell you why you hire a producer, because you just have more input on things. And I'm going to play probably one of my favorite deep cut Genesis songs. It was honestly, if I'm going back to my discovering of the song, it's the song that inspired this show. This is Please Don't Ask by Genesis. And I want you to listen to the bass on this one. And this is, I think, what would have made Amanda just a couple more passes on production and a couple more, just input from people to say, remember that song, Please Don't Ask by Genesis? Duke, big selling album. We could have a little bit more interest in the bass on a very similar type of ballad. Right in the chorus here. Listen to what the bass does here. And when I hear Amanda, I want the bass to do something. I want it to walk up the scale. I just want to hear it go.
That's moving.
It sits on the root too much. It's this weird small thing, but that's just what the one thing of this song. It's decent. It could have used a few more passes, and that's what you get with the producer. And
anybody hate this opening up the album?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
It sets the tone for the album nicely. Let's be honest.
It falls into what Boston does. It seems like that's kind of Tom's thing. He puts the most popular hit song first. He's done it for the last 3 records. So
we've gone from More Than a Feeling, Don't Look Back, and then Amanda.
Like maybe he just knows, like, okay, well, this is the best song I got, so let's just put it right up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what is the? This is the again. I'll give it. It's catchy on a the most superficial of levels, but this really is like the crumbs at the bottom of the Dorito bag. Like, okay, it's like, all right, it's there, okay, and it's okay. I'm enjoying it, I guess, but it's still crumbs at the bottom of a Dorito bag.
I just think it had potential. They could have made nachos out of it.
Yeah, he didn't.
It's a number one hit. It's their biggest hit. Which figures 86 carries the ballad, but it almost feels like a forgotten Boston song in a way in the timeline. Like this is the one song I feel like could have sat on Don't Look Back. Probably not the debut. I guess there was room for this on the debut. The debut didn't really have a ballad, but you could have slotted this in, and it would have mostly played just fine.
Yeah, Mark, I like that. That should have been your opening or your one statement. Like, they could have made nachos and they didn't.
And they just gave me crumbs. Well, they gave me worse than crumbs later.
It's fine. I just can't. I have a hard time getting past the production on this album because it's not like he couldn't. That's the thing.
Yeah, for a guy who was all about the
somebody
studio,
who just lost their talent. The Monstars came in here and they stole the talent of Tom Scholz.
God, I love that.
The Monstars stole
NBA players.
Wow, did you just?
I will say. Here's where I stand on the production. I'm not like as appalled by it. I'm appalled more of the fact that you expected this guy that seemed ahead of the game in 1976, and he had all this time off to digest what was going on.
Yeah.
To me, it still sounds kind of in the Boston camp. There is one song in particular, the one song that I hate.
I can't wait.
Where that one, I actually really freaking hate the production on that one. But like, I can live with this because it's just kind of what I expect.
This one's fine.
Like, well,
I don't hear horrible production in this song.
I kind of feel like that for the whole record. It's all of the same. If anything, it's maybe even a little thinner than Don't Look Back. And it's not like, I don't know.
Where's the warmth? Where's that sunshine on the skin?
No, I know
it's not there.
You know what?
You put us into space and kicked us out of the space shuttle without a suit.
You know, maybe I was gonna wait to compare it to this record, but now this conversation's making me kind of think of it. It's the OU812 by Van Halen story.
Did I not rant about that one?
Coming out of 5150, you hear OU812. There's a charm to it. I've learned to love it, but that is the one album in the Van Halen catalog where I wish they would remix it, add more bass to it, because you think like it is a little. It's like the And Justice for All too. It's like, where's the bass? And it is part of the sound, and I get it. And people love that record, and that's one of my favorite Metallica records. But it's like, you wish what could have been
away with that.
Yeah.
At least OU812 and Justice for All had some balls.
Well, yeah, they had good. I mean, they had.
This
they
is
had songs.
Just,
yeah, I mean,
Tom is just serving up the sappy ballads.
Yeah, there's a lot of sappy ballads on it for sure.
Yeah.
Nobody can hear this. We're playing Mine All Mine by Van Halen.
Hang on. I think I can make that happen. I should be hearing it live. It's bumping through the Twitch stream.
Yeah.
I don't like this album either, but that's this just shows you how much butt the mid '80s kicked.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what? 1986, same year as 5150.
Yeah, right.
Give me a break, Tom.
All right, what's up next?
We're ready. I'm ready. We're going to start this at 3 minutes. you think he spent on that effect?
Yeah, that is. There's some warm blankets there. I don't know about the ooze, though.
Is the track, ladies and gentlemen. That is the one. This song is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. The solo line is nice.
Solo's great. Opening riff is catchy, and then I think they get the heaviest they have got yet on a Boston song. Where let me see where it is, but it's the So what I was gonna say.
Give me some timestamps. Let's try this one.
Yeah. Well, I was air drumming to this one. I played this song was on repeat all day today. But let me see if I can find it. Where are we at here?
You know what? Well, Alex jumps around.
Yeah, no. I'll talk about. I'll talk about my other one. But I was gonna say my story about this song. I subscribe to this guy's YouTube channel. It's this David Brewster guy. I think he's from like Illinois. He's really nice. Seems like a really nice, sweet guy who
corn-fed.
Corn-fed, nice guy. He go check him out, David Brewster. He does he'll take a band and he usually picks some of their more like deep cut songs, and he shows you how to play some of their stuff. It goes into the theory behind it, because I think he used to do like tabs for Guitar World back in the 90s and whatnot. So he did recently, like within the last couple of weeks, he did the Chords of Boston. So, of course, he does, like, Hitchin' a Ride and Don't Look Back. And then I was expecting him to do Cool the Engines. And he does this song. And I'm like, I don't know this song. So I was, like, watching him play the riff. I'm like, okay. And then it wasn't until I, like, listened to the song and I listened to all the parts. I'm like, oh, yeah, this song grew on me. And what I was going to say, I think you played it like around 50... Can you play around 57 seconds? This is not the heavy riff, but the way these vocals work. 57 seconds. Let's see if I can switch it. I think it's right here. Watch. Here we go. When have they ever done this? Look at that! When have they ever done the cymbal choke? That is sick.
You know what that reminds me? You know what that reminds me of?
I hope that was Sid with the fro.
That sound. That was another. I don't know if I have issue with it because it sounds.
I think he's
really
out
good.
of the band, Alex.
Yeah.
Huh?
Tom has left the band behind. I think in like 80 they were all done.
Well, it doesn't matter. Whoever that was, I liked that.
It was probably Tom.
It was probably Tom doing it. Yeah. And what I was going to say, here, let me put this in the chat. So I was leading to this. So there has been numerous times on the past Boston records that we've covered where I've heard Van Halen in Boston. And there is a song off of OU812. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. The song's called Sucker in a Three-Piece. Mm-hmm. And if you could, I'll put it in the Skype chat. If you could play right around 3 minutes and 17 seconds, I feel like the tones and some of the chord voicings are very similar. And Sucker in a Three-Piece would have came out a few years later in 88. And I'm like, I wonder if Eddie was listening to a little bit of Tom here.
Well, the one thing, and we talk about that heavy part as I pull this up, is that it's nice, but for 86, it should be tighter. It should be more spread across the stereo spectrum.
Yeah, but I feel like they never got like kind of like almost metally there and like that heavy kind of chuggy riff, and then it's very beautiful. I think this song has everything in it. 317 on Sucker in a Three-Piece.
Say it isn't so, baby.
not entirely, but like think of the tone of the guitar and some of those
and the
chord
tempo a little bit.
The chord changes. Like I hear some of that in that heavy riff. Not so much this part, but
listen to how fat Eddie's guitar is.
Yeah,
it's just it's so thick.
Sure. But I think this... all right, you got to think of what's on this record, and I think this kind of has it all. It's like this very beautiful... You got the saccharine warm blankets with the ooze. You got the heavy parts in there, which I feel like they hadn't really hit yet. Yes, should they have maybe gone farther with 8 years off and,
yes.
years of Metallica and thrash and metal to listen to and get inspired by? Yes, sure. But I think the song's fantastic, and I'm sticking with it.
You want to hear something? You know how singers have a shelf life? You just wasted 8 years of Brad Delp doing nothing.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Nothing!
Yeah.
He sat around for all that time. He
waiting
was
for demos in the mail.
Yeah, now he's
sitting there looking for the mailman.
Prime.
Now he's in his mid-30s, yeah.
This guy has golden pipes, and he blows the world away on the first album. He's good, okay? He's good. I know he's
that
not
was a
Freddie
question
Mercury.
for debate I was going to throw out there.
I know he's not Freddie Mercury, okay? That's fine, but nobody else is. Mm-hmm. But he's got some pipes, and you just spent 8 years sitting around. What is your favorite singer? Like, think about the top of their game, and then fast forward at 8 years, and then compare those two. Like, it's totally different, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to say on this whole album, for 90% of it, and especially on this song, Brad, like, if I didn't know if it were Brad, I'd expect that it was like somebody that just sounds like him.
It sounds.
There is a little bit of a weaker kind of.
There's too many moments where he sounds like a backup singer.
Was
I don't know if it's him.
There's
or
just
if
so many. There's so many times where it's just the delivery is flat and the delivery is lacking and the delivery has no emotion. And I don't know whether he just got sick of these songs after hearing them over like a decade or what. But that's why I can't buy into the song.
You know what was?
It's because I listened to Brad and it just doesn't.
Was it just me or did the way that he the way that he sings the chorus "We're Ready"? That sounds very much like a Freddie type of singing moment. Yeah,
yeah. It's not a top of the Billboard chart Amanda song though. So that's why I think it plays more on the strengths of more of like the different moods and stuff that it and kind of more of the guitar work than just like a simple ballad. And I think it's like that deep cut kind of lost Boston track, and that's why I kind of appreciate it.
I'll buy it. I'm at a 1 now. All right. I like that the varied moods of this song. This song does give you some dynamics.
Yeah, there's a lot of dynamics in there. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
I feel like we're complimenting the reverb section on a crate.
Oh, there we go.
Inside. It's like, oh yeah, the tone is like, but that reverb, yeah.
When you
all right, we got good stuff coming up here. Who couldn't wait for this one? The launch, countdown, ignition, third stage. I'm pumped.
I am ready for all of this.
I'm pumped. I've been looking forward to this all week.
I'm shaking in my chair.
You know what? Forget it. Yes, and your Stormship Trooper and your different sections. I'm putting on the launch. 45 seconds.
3 stages in 3 minutes. Yes, close to the edge is 3 stages.
Is this a BBW or what? Imagine them opening the show with this. Well, actually, it might work. I don't know. It's almost like too epic where it like rubs you off. It's like
it's overcompensating because like when I got to that, I'm like that's kind of cool, but again,
like I feel like I'm putting on Game of Thrones or something, and I don't care for that show, and I don't like what is this doing here?
And the problem
Asia
again,
song was a lifted truck.
Yeah. And the problem too, I mean, it sounds again like 82. I mean, it sounds like something off of like an early Asia record, like where it's just got all that. This is not an 86.
Except with a bucket of mud dumped over it.
This is not the synths that they were using in 86 and 87. We're already again. How many times do we have to say it? This is not 81, 82.
Wait. Chris, no synthesizers on this album. Tom wants it known that he spent the time to not put synthesizers on this album.
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
it's just I guess I must have forgotten that. I mean, it's funny because we talked about it, but again, I still...
You're going to get a letter in the mail.
It hasn't stuck into my brain yet, but I guess you're right. I mean, it just sounds like he was just sitting there like, okay, overdub. Okay, let's see how many times... before this tape just like liquefies, like where I can just get this.
It actually did. It apparently it got so sticky he had to use lube on the tape to get it off.
I think that was for the next song, but maybe Mark would have wished it stuck and disintegrated.
It's funny because it's funny how much we kind of complimented the Journey on the previous record, and now this is, I think, trying to repeat that, and it.
Well, this took a theme from The Journey, right? If you listen to the opening organ, you can hear the same exact theme. The guy is ripping off himself. Yeah. Doesn't even have ideas 8 years later.
Could we play the outro? That what is that? Third Stage. Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. You know when that starts? Because I don't.
I don't know. Somewhere up here.
Let's just press play.
I feel like the THX logo is about to come out and slap me in the face. Sorry, that sounds like the first Star Trek movie. It sounds like Hollywood late 1970s sound design.
Yeah, it does. All right, now we're at Cool the Engines, if you didn't know. And
I was actually gonna. Well, I'll wait. Were you gonna play a clip of the song?
That was it.
No,
that was all you were going to play.
That's I was going to say. Stages.
Okay, well, I was going to say this is where for this song, I was watching some live footage of Boston today, their show from the Greek Theater in 2017, and it actually helped me appreciate some of these songs watching them in a live context because they played like the 3 songs that I do like from this record or 4 songs or whatever live, and I noticed this is where they start getting into like the Molly Hatchet kind of like southern rock with the slide guitar,
like
a little more 38 Special getting in there, a little Leonard, like 80s Leonard Skinner or something. Where I don't know if I like they do it later in a song, and I actually like that song, but it's like one of those things where it's like. I don't know, because I realize there is slide guitar on Don't Look Back, the song itself. So it's like, okay, well, it's not a totally new idea, but it's like, okay, are you just kind of trying to like hop on this like kind of southern rock trend that's going on probably around that time? I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about the slide guitar. It starts to get a little southern rock for me, which I
to be honest with you, never even heard it.
It's like Same here.
I did not hear.
Anyway, I know Mark doesn't like this song.
But is it in the launch or is it?
No, it's at the beginning of Cool the Engines.
Oh, we are not on.
That's what I asked. That's what I asked.
Now we are.
That's why.
No, I thought you
I'm
said
ready
the
to
clip.
move on.
Was
Here we go.
Clip?
Cool the Engines.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
No, Alex. It automatically went into Cool the Engines because the clip Mark played was the end of the launch.
That's why I
got excited.
That's why
I'm starting Cool the Engines elsewhere.
Let's hear the slide.
That's why I was asking.
Where's the? Oh, okay.
Right up top. not going to pretend to like this song.
I like this song.
Yeah, that's fine. I can. It's one of those songs I just don't connect with. I'm sorry, but this is the point in the album where the drum start to bother me. They start to sound drum machiney. I don't know if it's Amanda was recorded differently or what, but starts to get a little sampled here. And
oh yeah,
that's.
I was thinking of that line from That Thing You Do, where guys like, I was playing like a wind-up toy out there.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it sounds like. Everything is.
Yeah,
and it doesn't help that the tempo is like, hey.
That's probably what I don't like. It's got this dumb little tempo that I just don't like.
Well, guys, I think we've lost them here.
I don't think you were ever going to get me on this song. I don't know why this song.
I'm talking about like the whole record in general. I can see it's just going to be Kevin just trying to keep it together.
I don't know. I don't convince me that this isn't just a bad demo song.
I'll convince you in here it's not a bad demo song because it gets worse from here. It makes you think that this was actually the real song.
It's one of those songs like that I would listen to on the Don't Look Back expanded edition and be like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I wonder why they left that one off and never think about it again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
that's just kind of what it feels like. It's cool. The engine. It's not bad. But it's not great, and it's just everything is just kind of there. And then when you combine that with the production, it just makes me makes me not want to.
I think for me, maybe it was just because I liked it when I first heard it back on the Greatest Hits way back when I was a kid. So I just kind of have always liked it, and I can't really separate it from that. But I suppose if I was just hearing it for the first time like this week or whatever, and it would probably just kind of blend in with everything else. So I respect that, I guess.
On the Greatest Hits album, it would just sit there right next to Smokin' and
because I think for me, I liked Boston so much, and I just wanted to keep hearing more, and I love that guitar tone. So I heard it again in the way it came in, and I felt like I heard the Rockman even more, which then I found out. I think this was the first record where he really did use the Rockman.
Yep.
So I think that probably was it too. I heard that Rockman tone for the first time. I'm like, that's it. That's the Boston guitar tone right there. And I really heard it on Cool the Engine. So it's catchy to me. I've just liked it for a long time.
I'm probably gonna kill this for Mark, but that main kind of guitar riff. As soon as I heard it, and again, I still enjoy the song like Alex does, but the first song that popped into my head was "Long Way to Love" by Brittany Fox. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, here's the thing, though. Who's copying who at that point?
Well, I mean, that was 88 or 80, a year or two later.
Pretty Fox is later than this.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know. I guess that's where they're pulling from. Yeah, 86 Boston, but so that was one. I guess if you want a thing that kind of puts a little bit of a nail in the song. Again, I don't think it's a horrible nail, but it just kind of made me laugh a little bit. But
everybody like the subject matter, or do not care?
I didn't care.
I didn't care. I didn't really.
See, that's the thing is that even when they try, they don't.
But this is the one part that we have to get into at 147. Yeah, this is where, as far as the influences start, people who used Tom's equipment better than he did. If you could cue that up, Kevin. There's ZZ Top.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Like Eric, that came in. I'm like, that's not even trying to be. And then give it a minute. Let it keep going. I want to hear that. There's another riff that comes up.
Those snare hits or something else. It's not rock.
All right, you can pause it. That I wanted to hear more of that. Like where they kind of
that's good.
Yeah, where
apparently this was written in 81 or 82.
Okay, yeah,
he had Amanda and he had this.
Okay.
It's like, okay, you get that little Priest moment there. Like, I wish they would have pushed that a little bit. Again, it's just this little segment that just kind of. But again, it's. I don't know why I'm complaining about this song. I mean, I don't hate it as much as the other two do, but yeah. I
don't hate it. I just never connected with it.
No, it's like you're making me try to look at more at the faults. Yeah, that I want to.
And the more I hear the rat-a-tat-tat-tat snares.
It is dry. I will say it sounds like there's not... It's not breathing. I guess I think that's a drum terminology as far as the other drums aren't.
The thing is, and if they're going to go all 70s with this, then the drums have to breathe. And if they're going to be 1986, then you got to put some more, weight to your samples. Bring that one down. Yeah. Bring it down more. There you go.
Hang on. There we go.
Sleeping Bag by ZZ Top.
Love it.
See, if you're going to do that, you got to go all in. You got to go all in.
You got to be kidding me.
God, I'm putting that on.
Just wait. Don't spoil my rant coming.
I've never listened to that whole album before. Tonight's the night. Sorry.
Afterburner, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Amanda Part 2, otherwise known as My Destination. Let's start this.
Don't cry, alternate lyrics.
Don't cry, alternate lyrics. Oh, man. 36 minutes. He treats us to Amanda Part 2. It doesn't matter where we start this, really. I'm just going to do 36 seconds.
My destination.
Hello, 1979. Yeah.
Is by your side.
The drum just doesn't Can we hear that again? I want to hear that again. Oh, that's so good.
That was one of the worst fills I ever heard
Awkward
in my life.
drum inputs.
Right by your side.
The snare sound is getting worse.
Trust
me, it's getting worse.
I'm looking at the personnel here. That's
Is that Sib?
No, that's Jim Masdia, the original drummer from the demos.
I gotta wonder if
he plays on tracks 5 through 10, and my boy Sib is on We're Ready. He's doing the simple chokes with the huge fro.
Yeah,
That makes me like him even more.
I don't even know where to begin here.
He did play in the launch, though. I can't defend him there.
Felt like I had to use a tube to suck out all the cheese. Yeah, that I was being barreled down with. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what are we again? This isn't even. We're not even in the 80s anymore. We're at 79. We're at the tail end, like peak Supertramp with that intro. I mean, it's not. Maybe we'll throw some Styx in there too. And I gotta point this out again. Again, we don't have to play the Elton John clip again, but yeah, Kevin, if you could play at 27 seconds.
Yeah, it's the exact same line.
Yeah,
as Amanda.
Hold on. Oh, God, and I had they effing did it again. That was my note. Like yeah, I mean, or you can stop. Just stop.
Just stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then I also hit at the end. There's like 10 to 15 seconds of nothing.
Yeah. No. What's up with that? I put that down too. I don't understand that. I know it's the end of a side, but why is it there? That's what it is. You talk about padding. This is just a slap in the face.
Yeah, and it's only.
I've never heard that before.
And it's only a little over 2 minutes too. Why did you need?
I never heard that before.
Yeah.
Like a hidden track, maybe, but
I feel like I didn't notice that. I
was sitting there. I'm like, okay, the song, and I look at him like,
oh yeah,
and going.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it just sounds like they're just like in the studio, just kind of like shuffling.
He probably had to meet a minimum time obligation for the record company.
He's looking for his wife's social security card.
For the live listeners that can't hear what we're talking about, listen to the last 10 seconds of My Destination. It's literally just silence.
That is 20 seconds. It's 20 seconds. Nothing.
That
Is it 20?
Yeah.
It's 20.
Mr.
I
Perfectionist.
hope-
I've never
I
done
ho-
that.
I hope that the guy spent 2 days on that silence. No, that I see here a little tape hiss. I got to get that out.
Yeah.
Gotta get some new tape.
They gotta
Some new
clean
tape
that
in there.
I mean, I would get it maybe for like a vinyl thing, like, and maybe that's what it is. But for the CD, clean that up.
Yeah, it's Spotify. The vinyl, like, a vinyl doesn't need to end at a certain spot, though, right? I'm not.
No,
I don't know a lot about it.
no, it
But
doesn't.
you just edit
I
it.
don't. They just end up spreading the grooves wider. I think. I don't know.
To get more bass, then.
Do you get more bass? Yeah, you lose some as it gets
No,
compacted.
my destination is the last song of side 1, so it would have faded out side 1.
You know what? I keep going back to this, but like this dreary Boston, man, I wanted them to change, but I didn't want. This.
I didn't want him to grow
I don't
up.
know. I don't know that it's changed. I will play
No,
change
no,
later.
No, what I mean is like, who wants a Boston full of ballads? Like, I loved A Man I'll Never Be. I really did. But what if you were to tell me that Boston was going to go all Michael Bolton on me, like, I have zero interest in that. I just have zero interest
Yeah.
about Tom and Brad crooning about
and the problem it's
women.
not, yeah, and
like, honestly,
and
do you really want to hear Tom on Amanda and Holly Ann? Like, he couldn't bring it about the girls on Don't Look Back. What's he going to bring now?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Yeah,
He's had 8 years to play the field.
and the funny thing, yeah.
He spent all that time changing bulbs.
They were
Oh,
doing
what
it.
can we
So every
say?
time he'd go on a date, he'd be talking about his latest lawsuit, and they just couldn't take it.
Well, guys, was Tom not married at this time?
I don't know, Alex. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, stay
What do
tuned.
the listener at home think?
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody needs to scour the case files of the old Boston PD.
Yeah, guy's just making up woman, as we can see. Amanda, Holly Ann.
Yeah, what's this
it's
going
funny,
on?
Throwing
this
names
kind-
out there, see what
No,
sticks.
it's funny. This kind of is like the Chinese democracy, like before. Yeah, I mean, what 20
Okay,
years before.
great comparison. I thought of
Yeah.
that too. Chinese Democracy. I actually enjoyed that album.
Yeah, it's more
It's
interesting.
not a
did,
Guns N'
yeah.
Roses album, but it's
Yeah.
genuinely not a good use of $1 billion,
Yeah, right.
but still like the musical output is interesting. I
Yeah.
suppose.
Here
Yeah.
it's not. Here it's just. I don't know.
79.
What
Yeah.
it's 79.
Well, and now that I'm seeing that most of these songs were written in 80, 81, it's like, what were you doing for those next like 5,
But they didn't
6
try
years?
to edit. It's like they finished the songs and they just dumped it. Like they just stuffed it in a drawer somewhere and then like, okay, we're finally out of the lawsuit. Okay, well here you go.
Oh, I guess
Like,
it was
you
the
needed it
law.
for the money.
I guess it was
Yeah.
the lawsuit, and
Well,
I did
why don't you
read
have
it.
to
I did read in an interview where Tom said he's like, we're not going to be able to put anything out for a while, so guys, go ahead and do your other projects and stuff.
Hang on a minute, though.
Yeah.
Hang on. The guy owns his own studio. He's not reliant on a record company paying his studio time here.
But he's nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He could
Probably
have
has to
recorded.
contractually release it under the label.
Yes, true, but he could have recorded 3 albums and dumped them all at the same time, or recorded 2, or this is what we got. In other words,
Yeah.
No,
He's not like-
hey, I'm not defending that.
He wrote it
get
Yeah.
in 80, 79, 80, and then he never did anything different with it. Despite
Right,
all
update
the
it.
new innovations and technologies.
Yeah, who
and-
knows? I mean, again,
that was my point,
there's some strong melodic moments here that you could have, if you would have added that 86 production, might have. I mean, done at least a little bit of something. I mean, not worse than it is now. I mean, at least it would have given it a little bit more. Yeah, just make it so it breathes. Yeah,
I
there's
would
not
agree.
Yeah, there's not a lot of breath here. There's a lot of. Yeah.
I know what's going to happen. Our listeners are going to hate me, and Mark's going to love this, because you know what this feels like? This feels like Vinnie Vincent Invasion Album 1. Once again.
Not even album one. I've got something coming.
Can't straddle the line between perfectionist and rock.
Yeah, and Vinny,
And you get this weird album that sounds like, where real drums sound like drum machines and guitars are stacked and layered, and it's just not quite there. And yeah,
Tom Scholz is a successful Vinnie Vincent.
let's move on to New World. Oh wait, that's Van Halen 3. Let's move on to A New World.
boy.
Starting
But
Get it right.
from the top.
Oh, Alex is in early on this one. Me too. So bad. Get out of nowhere. That song sucks.
This is the one. What in the hell is this track? And you know what I found out? It was frickin' Jim Mastia who wrote it. Maybe he shouldn't have been welcomed back into the band. I think there was a reason he didn't make the cut on the first record, and then here he comes back. Here's his contribution. What the hell is this?
It could have been
You know
a feud of time.
you know
I
what's
don't know.
funny? You know what's
a
funny?
decade's worth
I was
of.
listening to this
Yeah.
song, and I was listening to that like progression, and you know what I went back to? I was thinking about the last record where Mark was talking about the journey, and he was talking about the Bach, and he was talking about the different kind of like moods and the traditional, the concertos, and I was thinking to myself, I was trying to convince myself, whatever frickin' progression that was, I was thinking, this has got to be some kind of highbrow classical progression thing that bands, like, people do, and it's very intelligent, and I don't get it, but it's a thing that's been done. And then I'm like, no, this is garbage. And then it just ends out of nowhere.
YouTube comments. I bet. I don't even want to look. It's just going to be like looking
This
up a
song
public
made me
employee's salary. I don't even want to
uncomfortable.
know. It's going to make me angry.
And then the drum fill into whatever that freaking 80s.
Can we get
That, like, it
again?
literally is a
4
joke.
million this sold. Okay, all right. Let me just play this right here.
What is this?
To be
This
fair,
is what
to be
I've
fair, I
told-
think
Look at
it
this.
is
What
the
this-
least listened to song on Spotify. Thank God.
This is what the song sounds like to me. Listen to this.
You're not far off.
It sounds like a diesel locomotive cold starting, where it's just like, like trying to get going. And then when it does, it's just so awkward and weird.
I literally cannot help but think like Tom was throwing Jim a bone or something. It's
Okay.
Wait, let's get to this.
it just ends short.
All right, Jim, you're done. You're done. You got enough time on my record.
Imagine you're Jim and you have done nothing of note. Like, right, his Wikipedia page literally directs to list of Boston band members. He gets his shot on the third album after the last ones have sold millions, and this is what he puts in. He gets his shot. He's got 8 years to get in a song. Guys, I got it. This is what we're going to put on the record.
So this
I want to see what this guy looks like. I'm looking him up.
So I gotta play
Does
this.
he
So
have a wife?
Yeah.
Is she real?
I gotta.
What's this song called again? A New World?
Oh my God.
I gotta throw it in. It was one of those moments where I wanted to pull my car over because again, we're the
This is
juices
crash
of-
your car
This
moment.
is the
Chris
car
has
that
crashed the. Oh, this
Yeah.
is funny. On YouTube, it shows up as a YouTube short because this song is so short. This song is a TikTok video.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you know what this it reminded me of? Again, a much more superior, little, I guess you want to call short song, "The Hellion" from Screaming for Vengeance.
Because
True.
that's tied
But-
to Electric Eye.
Yeah, but again, what do we have here? So we have a new world, and now I guess if you want to segue into the next song, this is what it goes into. This is what we get. Like, you're expecting, like, okay, hopefully we get like an Electric Eye like type of moment. Okay, I'm waiting for like the. And what do we get? You want to start it up? What's going on? Oh wait, hold.
Yeah, hit that button. Here we go.
What does it take to be?
What?
Electric Eye. This is not.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I've never. Yeah, I mean,
I'm reading the comments for A New World. If only this song was longer, it would be a hit. Yeah, buddy. I think it needs more than just length. Google the album notes for this. You'll be glad you did. A perfectionist indeed. I want to hear what the album notes do to make A New World better. I would love to see the best album notes of all time. That's for sure. Love this track. Too bad it's not longer.
Somebody thinks that this song is going up against Theme from Top Gun and becoming a hit in 1986.
Yeah,
You know what this song? You know what this? No, I just thought of this. This song sounds like it should be like in Flash Gordon. Like this should be on the Flash Gordon soundtrack or something.
It does,
and that's a compliment.
And that's fine. That's fine. I'll forgive Queen. Yeah, yep. That's all it is. Yeah. And that's probably what he did. But it just, To Be a Man. Here we go.
Yeah.
As Jim Masdia.
They can't put their experiments on my vinyl.
Tom Scholl's talking about what
I wish
it
we
means to be
had
a
an
man.
experiment.
Well, yeah, let's start at 2:35 to be a man.
Worst production ever. I've heard mumble rap that is more audible than this.
You know what I thought of when I heard that?
And Little Xan. You can hear more of their lyrics than this dude.
You know what I thought of when you played that? I just thought of Tom putting the "Oh Canada" on the Life Love Rock record from like 2013. It's just like, what is, like, he's trying to write a national anthem for like Saudi Arabia or something. That's what it is. This was his attempt at a national anthem
I don't know why
for a
that
country.
As far as that guitar line sounds like a national anthem.
It's like one of those things where we talk about the journey and we talk about some of these lines, and the guy was writing such heroic stuff. I talk about the journey, how it predated the Top Gun anthem, and then it's like you get A New World. To be fair, that was Jim, but like I don't know about this one, guys.
Did you hear some of the edits? I'm sorry, but I heard cymbal crashes cut off. Not like they were anything to listen to anyway, but cymbal crashes cut off. Tom, you spliced the tape too soon. I'm sorry about that. And then you got just these drum fills that are
imagine this thought. Tom is cutting songs short at awkward times because he has a time crunch, but he adds 20 seconds of silence at the end of a song.
We gotta hear this again.
Yeah, please.
It's not what you are, it's what the.
Yeah. Yeah. Hand over the heart for this song, please.
Yeah. So
stand up and remove your caps.
Can we get Jim on the Skype and ask him how the drumming sessions were for this? I want to hear his experience. Was he even there, or was he sharing a joint with Tom?
So this is Jim on this. Well, supposedly.
I don't believe it. I don't believe nobody can tell me that this is a human drummer.
Well.
So much reverb.
It's drenched in reverb.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's so bad.
Actually, after Jim's contribution with A New World, it might be actually believable.
All right.
So the
Chris,
question
you got
is,
something to say? Because I've got my presentation. Finally, I'm ready. But Chris, go ahead.
Here?
Yeah.
So did Tom succeed in telling us what it means to be a man, or what it is to be a man?
No.
What does he do? Yeah, a song. Yeah, a song about being a man. And what does he deliver us with? A ballad with a sappy.
Isn't there a Tesla song about being a man? It's a lot better than this.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bark. Take the stage.
And I apologize for all of our listeners on live Twitch now, because you're not going to be able to hear this and blame the scumbags at UMG for Universal Music Group for insta banning my YouTube video simply because it had some songs in it. Even though this is fair use, but whatever. We are going to have to listen to this little presentation in mono. So please check it out on the Spotify where it will be there. But I just wanted to illustrate for all of the listeners, really, just it's if Kevin started off with his what would you call that? A deposition, his legal deposition by the plaintiff. Yeah. And here he has called me to the stand to bring evidence of how much butt 70s rockers could kick in the 80s. And I just want to play a couple of songs that have been recorded, written, and released in the time since Don't Look Back was released and before this was released. I'm just going to play a few samples to show what people are doing with the musical instrument known as the recording studio. This is coming through, again, only on Skype here, and this is going to be in mono only, unfortunately. Hope you guys can hear it. Here's a little presentation.
Larger than life. Nobody on the beach. I feel it in the air. The summer's out of reach. Empty lake, empty streets. The sun goes down alone. You're the meaning in my life. You're the inspiration. You bring feeling to my life. I'll never find another girl like you. For happy dream will come true. Sarah, this is the world we live in, and these are the hands we give up.
All of those 70s rockers. Now, wait, I'm not done, because how could we play all that? I know they're not really a 70s band, but they put out a lot of great material in the 70s. Van Halen. Gotta play this. Guitar and synth. Listen to it. Well, the greatest guitarist in the world had left the guitar and was playing with the synthesizer. And I'm not done yet. Because I have one more that is just the biggest slap in the face to Tom. We've mentioned him twice on the show already. The Rockman, ZZ Top, Afterburner.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm crying. Crying live on air here. Oh.
All right. Oh man.
All right. I need to criticize myself What have I been doing? How have I not listened to all of it? I'm crying over here listening to these clips, and I'm getting this low-res 96 kbps MP3 in mono, and it's doing something to me.
Yeah, I not to beat a dead horse, but yeah,
I do know Rough Boy though.
But yeah, this is what happens. I mean, with all the music that you just played, I mean, Tom was not doing anything and spending all of his time in the courtroom. These guys were probably half a dozen albums more into their career in that 8-year period, honing their craft.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just ZZ Top and the way it's just incredible with ZZ Top to take the Rockman sound, give it the ZZ Top twang, add layers of synth that just don't drown you but complement the sound. And then you got Billy Gibbons just crooning over it all. Like I am so angry, as Kevin was mowing the lawn in anger, that we did not get that kind of Boston. Listen to all of those 70s artists just maximizing the potential of the 80s. And what do we get? We got To Be a Man. We got this crap. Tom, you suck.
Yeah. To be fair, there's really no excuse. I mean, if ZZ Top is able to navigate the 80s like that, like I could see them losing a lot of fans for trying to pull that.
They were selling loads of records.
I know, but I could see like if you know like how like what those early ZZ Top records sounded like, they're just like this Texas whiskey drinking bar band, and they're pulling this stuff off.
Yeah. I think you might have hacked away at my score a little bit, Mark. Yeah,
yeah. That Mark, you just came in, and that was the star.
He came
witness.
Prepared.
The star.
The expert lawyer came in with the suitcase with his papers prepared, right there.
All I have to do is turn to the.
I have a mountain of
evidence. I just turn to the judge and say, "No more questions." You're redirect.
My case.
Yeah.
The defense just sitting there, just thinking about how he's going to sue his lawyer now. On the level that he can understand, I presented my case. It's. I'm going to go listen to ZZ Top tonight. I have been listening to ZZ Top, and I started listening to Huey Lewis in the news.
Too. Yeah, today, what did I have on? The Afterburner. I was about to put it in the group chat. I was going to put in Living in the Lap of Luxury. And I just like, no, I'm going to save this for the show. But that is the thing. If you were to look, you know me, like you send me a 70s band that I know, and then you look for that album made between like 84 and 87 to see what they were doing, because it's usually like this hidden gem. And if you were to send me Boston's catalog today, that's what I do. But no, you don't get that. You get 1978 songs, rejects, that are worse. and it's the most disappointing thing. That's what it is overall. That's why it gets a 2 for me. Because it's just...
It's the final cut where we never got early 80s Pink Floyd to enjoy. We got a sappy protest album from Roger. Like, we didn't get awesome, like, Foreigner-style Pink Floyd. We got that. And then we got... But they redeemed themselves with Momentary Lapse. So that's fine. Yeah. They're Floyd. That's why I don't know if Boston really belongs on our list of greatest discographies. This album is really, really, really nuking that thought for me.
Yeah, because if they couldn't keep the momentum up into album 3, I mean, come on.
Yeah, no. I'm hoping. I don't know what's next. I genuinely don't, and I hope it's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got 3 more songs. How many ballads? I'm not sure. But we're going to move on to I Think I Like It. We'll start at 1 minute.
I think I really like it. I think I like what I feel. The changes in the open mind. Oh, look at the world we make. What have we become? People living for what they take. All for number one. Changes. Making me see the light.
I don't know. Is this the third kind of heavy hoedown that Boston's hit on their
That's
record?
what I'm talking about. They're starting to get into that southern rock territory.
Yeah,
You know what I hear though?
Yeah.
Are you going to say it?
Poison.
Sum 41. Blink 182.
Oh,
Listen to that chord, like in that verse right there.
Oh, yeah,
It
sure.
is so pop punk. 15 years later. Where is that? It's like slow motion. I mean, just that whole. Maybe it's the chord progression.
Well, hey, you want to hear something?
Yeah.
You want to hear something? No,
Where
are
is
you
it?
going
Let's
to?
see if I can find this.
I'm putting it in the chat. Go ahead and
reminds
play. You'll hear it.
Oh, are you?
Talk about ripping off a riff. Play exactly
Oh,
from
yeah.
where I clicked
oh
it.
yeah. Oh, you don't even need to play
Can
it.
somebody
I know
guess in the
exactly what
chat,
you
in the
mean.
live chat?
Yeah, what am I about
Yeah.
to play? 49 seconds. You'll hear it.
I'll give you a minute. Here it goes.
And this song would have came out 2 years prior to Third Stage.
Copy link.
No, actually, I'm
giving you
sorry. What am
time.
I talking
Paste,
about?
paste.
What I'm
4
it's
years.
6 years.
Yeah, that was because
Yeah.
Heading to the top of the
Caddyshack.
list. Here we go.
49
Come on.
seconds.
Just to sing, she does everything. She loves to move.
Yeah.
Literally that riff.
That's damning.
She loves another thing. All night.
It also reminds me a little bit of the Cars, maybe, as far as the tempo.
So high.
This is what
It's literally that da na 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 na. It's literally the same riff. I will say, it's catchy though.
It is, yeah.
This is what I hear.
It's
And this
catchy.
is, I highly doubt there's any connection to this, but many years
Who the hell
later.
knows?
Oh my God.
Nobody came. I know I'm not the one you thought you knew back in high school. Never going, never showing up when we had to. Attention that we crave. Don't tell us to behave. I'm sick of always hearing that you
I know Chris is not going to like that, but the energy, the energy. Love it. I know it's 15 years
appreciate
later,
that.
but
I appreciate that.
After those two, hang on.
Can't you say you believe in me?
Yikes.
Can't you see
42 seconds.
to me?
Can we just play this from the start
Yeah.
again? You're ready for this?
Can't you see what you mean to me?
You must be
that's
joking.
horrible.
I can't believe
That
it.
you know what
get
that
me
is?
all-
That's sticks.
you-
No, it's
get me
Freddie
all
too,
pumped
like a
up.
Freddie
Yeah.
piano bell, but it doesn't have. But
Freddie was
he's
doing
not-
this 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah, and much better and much more shockingly, much more versatile in taking advantage of that one single side of him.
Can't you say you believe in me? Can't you see what it means to me?
I'll admit that's got a little bit of that Boston magic in that guitar lead.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I still love you. We got our time apart.
God, that's such cheese.
I have a better version of this song.
I'm sure that you
Kevin
I'm sure it's not
mentioned him
hard to find.
earlier. Mr. Vincent Cusano
Oh God.
in look him up. 1982, before he even was the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, he released a demo tape that sounds better than this, with him on vocals.
I haven't even heard this.
So yeah, just hear what I'm saying. This is Can't You See? Come on, get to this. Let's just hear this. I mean, it's all right. It's fine. It's got some hooks. This is Vinnie Vincent, the demo version, which was never re-recorded, of "Gypsy in Your Eyes." That's how you do it. And that's a demo tape, recorded out of pocket. Vinny singing, playing the guitars, playing the keyboards. And this is what we get from Boston. a band that outstrips anything that Vinnie Vincent ever does. Oh, this song is bad.
You know what my note
No, not yet.
said for this song by this time?
Stop, Hollyann.
No, please stop, Hollyann. And this is to the point in my notes where I'm not even like
writing
it's
anymore.
rough, right? The lines start getting shorter and shorter. But the geeks out there will appreciate. Please know, I feel like the Dementors and Harry Potter are sucking out the soul and happiness from me. Can't you say you believe still in love? It's just somehow at this point I'm drained because I've gotten Can't You Say You Believe in Me, Still in Love, and what do I have to look forward to the rest of the album? A strong
ballad.
closer? A big burner? No. Ballad number 10. Hollyann. He's just, here it is, Kevin, served up on a plate. Some rotten vegetables and a moldy steak. I mean, come on, Hollyann. I didn't even put a timestamp for this one. I just said nothing more
Why didn't you
said.
play it from the very beginning?
Yeah,
Okay.
In my mind, I can see reminders of a past decade, so far behind, like the shadows linger at the close of day, and we could see we were timeless dreamers of another day. We were free in a dawning age. We had so much to say. Ooh, the nights you came to me, a pudgy lady so eager to be free. And the wind in your long hair blowing as we stood for the bed.
I will say I'd pick Amanda out for Hollyann.
I will say I love what is going on up until the 50-second mark.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
it
56 when it switches
slows down a
there.
little bit too much.
I literally wrote that in here. I'm like, I enjoy the opening progression. I know it's super simple. It's nothing, but it's building the vibe there. It's pleasing the earworm, and it's. I wrote, enjoy the opening progression up until 56 seconds, and then it switched, and I wish it wouldn't have.
Yeah,
But then
slows down quite a bit.
But then it does end up switching and coming back to the Hollyann part. And then for you guys and for our listeners, I'm gonna play a little bit. I'm gonna put this in the chat here. When that little guitar line came in there, I'm gonna bring it back to some vintage primitive YouTube. The first couple years of YouTube. You guys remember this video and hear any similarities in the guitar work?
I do not know this one.
Anybody remember this video?
This is, why don't you introduce it while I load this up?
Okay. So when I first started watching YouTube, this had to be in high school. So let's say I was in high school from 2007 to 2011. So let's just say 2008 or 2009. This was one of the first original YouTube videos, and it's by the handle Fun2, and it's Canon in D, and it's this guy playing Canon in D on a chrome pickguard Jackson or Ibanez in his room, and I just remember it being a huge video. So if you play it.
So mid 2000s. That's
It is. Yeah, I know. But if you played it from the very beginning, he doesn't play that fast and rock out that fast yet. The very beginning. Yeah, like that
Not
was
harder
like,
than anything on this album.
yeah, that was like the first kind of like guitar performance on YouTube video thing. Anyway, I heard like that just made me think of that video on Holly Ann.
This song, back to Holly Ann. It's, I mean, this image I get right around here. Let me paint the picture. Let me paint the scene for you. You are at Summerfest in Milwaukee, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's a music festival on the lake, on Lake Michigan. It's nice vibes. Like it's just a cool place.
It's like a couple week. It's like a couple week long thing. It's not like just a weekender. It goes on for a couple weeks, and there's bands playing like every day.
And there's different stages. There's the big stage with the big band, and this is what this makes me think of. This part here. It sounds like the backbeat to a stage. Like you are not there to see Boston because Boston was so 8 years ago. You're there to see Def Leppard. You're there to see Bon Jovi, and you can just hear Boston in the back, this echoing out, playing to like a third or a quarter of the people they used to play to. And you listen to it, and you're just like, oh, Boston. Yeah, they were pretty good. I wonder what else. Like it kind of just like it almost pings the little nostalgia neutrons in your brain, just right there where it feels like an echo of "Don't Look Back," of Peace of Mind, the debut. It has the DNA still there, but it is so awash in reverb and so distant that it might as well not even exist anymore, and you might as well just stick with the memories.
I got a question for the people, the defenders of this album, and I'm not including Alex, you, or Chris. I know you rated it higher. But the people that genuinely love this album, you go and see Boston this summer, okay? You're sitting there and you got More Than a Feeling, you got Long Time, you got all the big hits, Smoking. Are you telling me you're sticking around? They pull out Holly Ann. Are you staying around for it? Or when this comes on, is this BBW time?
Sticking around.
As nice
Beer,
as
bathroom,
nice,
or weed? Are you picking one
nice
of the three?
as that is,
It's for the diehards only.
Pretty much. I mean, I hate to say it, but
wouldn't We're Ready be for the diehards?
Yeah. But I mean, yeah.
Here's the thing I read. I don't know if it's true or not. Chris maybe knows more than me. Tom insisted on the highly lucrative and successful world tour that followed this album. I'm not being sarcastic. There was one. That he insisted on playing this album in its entirety, top to bottom. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a set list that contradicts that. But I read that somewhere. And I kind of believe it.
Gotten away with that.
I will say, so I'm looking up set lists by Boston. The last set list they have up on Setlist FM, their last show, I don't know if it was actually the last show, but it's the last set list printed. July 30th, 2017, they played Holly Ann. 9th. They played it. Really? They did Cool the Engines, We're Ready, Holly Ann, Don't Be Afraid, I Think I Like It. Oh. Well,
that's BBW for sure. 9th in the set is BBW territory.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I like this song just for a simple chord progression because again, it's that same one that has been done probably on however many records. I mean, it's pretty much the foundation of the ballad is that moment. But I have a hard time not simping out for it.
It's got the pocket. I can see where Alex is going with the Pocket Bells canon because it hits that minor second, whatever key this is in. That it makes it at least a little bit more complex, but we are so far away from Something About You or I don't know, A Man I'll Never Be. And I know like we are so physically that far away in time, but
I know. And I've brought this up on discographies before, but we're so far away from songs that I'm actually going to listen to in the future and not just listening to for this discography. And unfortunately, we get into some of these albums where I'm just listening to stuff before the discography, but I guarantee you that when I, next year and I get the itch for some Boston, that I Think I Like It and Holly Ann are not coming on the playlist. Yeah. And that kind of says it all. Right. Whereas opposed to like Alex sent out a Queen song the other day. You remember it,
Yeah.
right? Back to Humans.
Yeah.
I'm probably going back to that
yeah.
song. You know, that's a killer
Yeah.
song. That off like an 80 something album.
Cool Cat.
That
Great
yeah,
deep cut.
those are
Queen.
songs. Those are songs that I'm going back to, and unfortunately, I listened to this album and I'm just like, it's there, and I feel like I'm kind of scraping the barrel for some of the, like something to like about these songs, and I even tried to be generous with the timestamps. You know me. Sometimes the timestamps I purposely stack them against the band when I don't like the albums. But even here, I tried to pick some of the better ones, and like the fact is, I hate to say it, but Third Stage, I've seen the vinyl, I've had it in my hands, and it's never gotten the purchase, and I don't think it's ever going to.
Queen's third album, Brighton Rock, Tenement Funster, in the Now I'm Here, Stone Cold Crazy, Misfire. I love Misfire. I know that got a couple flushes. Bring back that Leroy Brown. The creativity bursting at the seams.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to compare. Yeah.
I know, but that's what we do. We listen to the best of the best, and this is just a big anchor.
Yeah, I'm not as pessimistic, but I can see. This is definitely it's quite a bit of a step down. But yeah,
Floyd's third album was
but
more,
I'm
and
not-
that was
I can't-
garbage. But Spanish Peace.
This is a question that I discussed with Alex the other day, and I'm just going to throw it out there, and I don't know if anybody's going to be truthful, but all the Pink, like Piper at the Gates of Dawn, several people here gave that very high scores. Yeah. How many people have gone back and re-listened to that album
not.
since?
I've gone back.
I appreciate the honesty.
I have. I've gone back to chapter 24.
You have, Mark?
And
that's
Inner Shell
the
of
one.
Life.
Those are the ones I would go back to.
I think I gave it more like a higher score, just creatively, not
Based on-
just.
I will say.
That's why this is getting a low score, because creatively it should be way better.
I will say, I'll admit, Kevin, before you joined, when you were having some technical issues, we were talking about Final Cut and how I gave that a high rating based on the lyrics alone. I don't remember a single song off that record.
Yeah.
Can you even name a song title?
Well, yeah, just because I looked it up, like Heroes, or actually, no, maybe I can't. I'd probably get it wrong. It's a Hero's Dream or Gunner's something or
Gunner's Dream,
Gunner's Stall from Mighty Ducks.
Fill in the blank.
Gunner's.
Yeah, that's.
All right, wrap this one up, Chris. Take it home.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if anybody. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Does anybody
There's enough
want?
going
Does
on.
anybody
Great
want
comment
to
in
win?
the chat here. Bad songs, great player. Tom
Yeah.
Scholz.
Yeah, should I give a multiple terminates on this one? I don't know. We'll have to.
Chris,
You know what I'll do? I'll give you. Yeah, you guys can decide whether or not you want to buy or terminate for this one. We'll do. Yeah. If you want two buys or two terminates,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Chris doesn't get a double.
Not that I used it on the last one.
You
Yeah,
used
so
it
we're.
on last
Yeah,
one.
thank goodness. No. Yeah.
All right.
All right, here we go. All right, number one, true or false? Amanda didn't represent a real person. I think that was Alex. Yeah.
Yeah.
False. It's not a real person.
Correct. Yeah, you were right. Yeah, that is not. It was just
Made up.
because
Made
it
up
worked.
person.
Yeah, it was. It just
we know
worked
that.
with the.
We know
yeah.
Tom. We've already established that Tom
Yeah.
makes up
Yeah.
his woman in his life. Chris, that was a
Who knows?
hanging
You
curve
don't
right
know.
there.
How
He was trying to nudge the episode into different
Conspiracy
territory.
territory.
yeah, how crushing would that have been if that was his one of his early yeah. You're not going to see Tom on a Rock of Love. Yeah.
Tom Scholz on Rock of Love.
Anyway.
Whoa, what a season 2 bringing the most dramatic season ever. Watch Tom solder for a date.
Talk about his lawsuits.
Oh, God.
Convinced
All right,
that he had us ex-wife.
All right, sorry, getting a little off track. But all right, next question, multiple choice. Which one of these songs was not released as a single? Was it A, Holly Ann, B, To Be a Man, or C, Cool the Engines?
Oh, I can't find the stupid...
Hey, what are you looking up
Load.
stuff?
No, I'm trying to load the file.
Oh, for your buzzer?
Yes.
Mark's
Just
buzzing
buzz
in.
me
Okay,
in. Just
okay,
get me to
all right.
buzz in.
All right.
Okay, I forgot what it was. What was it? The three? I know it's not Cool the Engines.
Or Holly Ann, To Be a Man, or Cool the Engines. Yeah. Which one was not released as a single?
To Be a Man.
Correct.
It was an
You're
album.
right.
That's what I was gonna say.
All right. Okay.
They released both Holly Ann and Amanda.
Yeah, he's a little. Yeah, I don't know.
They probably separated the time on it.
People who didn't know the band probably thought they were going to get like a Sophia next.
Yeah,
or
I think
something.
Holly Ann. I think was the very last single, like almost like quite a while after I think the album came out. All right, true or false? Brad Delp pushed hard on Tom to get things done, which caused a rift. Yes, Mark.
False.
Yes, you are correct. Do you want me to elaborate on why?
Yeah, actually let him do his own thing.
Yeah, well, I guess
He
Brad was
recorded
pretty
on
much,
another album.
Brad admitted, I guess, that he was kind of just getting kind of lazy and wasn't really ambitious enough to really push back. I guess his first daughter was born, and he was kind of just
He
being
wanted
a
to spend
stay-at-home
time
dad, I
with
guess.
her, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, Mark's one away from. See what happens. All right.
What happens when the person who gave it a 0.5 out of 10 wins the trip?
Multiple terminates.
All right, here we
It's
go.
happened.
I got another multiple choice here. All right, lead guitarist Gary Pyle, I think, came from which 80s solo stars band? Was it A, John Mellencamp, C, Sammy Hagar, or D, George Thorogood?
Gary who?
Gary Pyle. He was the lead guitar player, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, Mark.
Wait, sorry, read it again.
Okay, Gary Pyle came from which 80s solo stars band? Was it A, John Mellencamp, B, Sammy Hagar?
Yep, Sammy.
Or,
I just want to make
Sammy,
sure
yeah,
I knew it
you're
was
correct.
Sammy. I was to make sure you said
Yeah.
it.
That was kind of off. I don't know what I was.
Mark wins it.
Yeah, ding, ding, ding. I don't know why I'm.
Somehow I
It's funny. I must have been. Yeah, my brain must have been. Yeah, I had A, C, and D. I skipped over B. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah.
And now, love it or flush
All
it.
right, tonight's
go.
order is going to be Kevin, Chris, myself, and Mark. Starting it off with Amanda. Kev, what do we think?
You know what? I'm going to keep this one around. Hate the placement, but it's not terrible as all things go.
Chris?
Gonna be a lot of light squeezes on here. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a little less than a full love. Yeah, it's catchy, but that's all I can really give it.
Yeah, I'm in the same ballpark. Actually, for like one of their biggest singles, I do like it. It's catchy and I know it well, but what your guys' arguments kind of did put it. It's like it's kind of an average song.
Yeah, by the books. Yeah, like here's C stock.
I'll still give
ballad.
I'll still give it a love though. I'll still give it a love. Mark.
Yeah, it just sounds like Amanda is analogous to that girl that you were made to hold hands with in third grade just because you're doing line dancing in gym. Ew, cooties. I'll give it a stock, like poke or something.
Yeah.
All right. Track 2, we're ready. Kev.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use my buy on We're Ready. And give my reasoning as, of all the songs on here, I'm scrolling through the list. This is probably the one that I didn't know beforehand. And I can't say that I absolutely love it. But it's not absolutely terrible either. So, there you go.
Chris?
Yeah, this will be my second bite, or my, the second buy of the evening, yeah. Yeah, it's, I don't know, I don't want to have to elaborate, it just gets you going.
All right, this is going to be my buy as well. Glad I did the album for this one. Mark?
And if I were going first, I honestly would have bought this too. I am solely going off of trusting Alex on this one, and I hope he's not leading us all off the cliff because I would have never bought it had Alex not been vibing so hard to it.
Yeah, I would have to agree. His arguments did help sway.
That and the fact that there's nothing else that I'm interested in.
I
You go to the dollar store, pick out what you want.
I think that's
All right,
why
guys.
I think that's why it stands out. But
So are you buying
I
this
bought it,
or
yeah,
not,
buy it.
Mark?
everybody
buying
bought
it?
this song. Wow. Okay.
Everybody bought.
All right,
We're
let's
ready.
bring it on over to the launch, Kev.
The launch misfires.
Yeah.
We can't launch because Mission Control's in the bathroom
Yeah.
right now.
Chris.
Yeah, I'll flush it too. Yeah.
Just, I have this picture of, like, imagine you're watching Apollo 13 and Jim Lovell's calling Houston, and it just cuts to a scene of all these guys at their, like, computers running for the job.
Yeah.
Just, like, they're all
It's the scene
Water
in
pressure
Mission.
glow at
It's,
NASA.
it's the scene in Mission Impossible where he comes down from the ceiling and squirts. Or no, actually, it's the girl. It's the girl who squirts the stuff in his cup to get him out of the room when he's stealing the tape. Squirts the stuff out of the pen into the cup to make him yak. That's what that is. Anyway, Chris, the launch.
Flushed.
I already
Oh, he
flushed
did.
it, yeah.
Okay, yeah. My 2 lines for this song are doesn't really do much for me. Flush.
Blunt. Very blunt
Keep
statement.
it going.
Yes! Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely a astronaut sitting in the pod wondering where everyone is on this one.
Guy, anytime. You know.
Michael, you got a baseball game in about 15 minutes.
Too busy watching.
Track 4, cool the engines, Cap.
I hate to do this to your childhood memories, Alex, but I just can't listen to this song without the drum machine and without the cool the engines. So this gets the whole flusheroo.
Fair enough. Hey, Fran Sheehan helped co-write the song. Think about that. You just heard him.
Guy
His
was-
one contribution.
He probably wrote the lyrics. He's that whacked out guy who was all concerned about nuclear destruction. Right as the Cold War was starting to cool off.
Hey, Alex.
Kev.
I think
Or Chris, I mean. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll give it a big love. Yeah, that's a song that I go way back with, even
There you
though
go.
it does have its issues.
Yeah, same here. I'm in the same camp. And then Mark, cool the engine.
my word for this song, I would summarize this as dopey. Flush.
A flush, okay.
It's just a dopey song. Alex, I'm surprised of all the names that we've dropped and flung around this record. I did see one. You know what? Let me. Bob Ludwig.
Yeah, I know.
Got a credit on this one.
I was thinking to myself, was Bob responsible for that 20-second silence at the end of My Destination?
Mastered
I
engineer. It got past that guy.
Yeah.
The guy is laying gold on everything he touches except for this.
Yeah. Can't win them all. All right. Track 5, Amanda Part 2. I'm not even going to give it this title it deserves. Kev. You know what it is.
I'm not sure what to use. I've never been so conflicted about using my nuke before. This is like when you're playing Command and Conquer and you're just not sure where to use that super weapon. Do I use it on the barracks or the war factory? I'm just not sure. Anyway,
This is the barracks.
I'm gonna go with my
this is
gut.
The barracks.
Yeah,
a little light.
Yeah, it is, and I'm using the flush.
Yeah, this is the the dark moment in the show. Yeah, you've got 2 or 3 not so good.
All right, it's about to get messy here.
Yeah, so you've got 3 guys. You got it
cleaner from here.
You got 3.
Albums never get better at the end. Come on, let's be honest.
You got 3 prisoners of wars, and you're okay. What order am I going to? Are they going to be shot in?
You can put the Red Cross on notice because they're about to enter a zone here.
Okay, we've got the. I'm not going to get too dark, but I could go darker. So
about
what
to get
am I going to do here? All right. I'm going to flush. Very aggressively flush this. The first one. Yeah, my destination is the sewers.
Chris is going to flush and dash. He's gonna do.
And this is where the nuke comes out here. My lines were terminate and well, that's just not necessary.
I feel like I need to make a trailer for this show, and well, that's just not necessary. It's a great little bit to include in there.
Yeah.
Keep the handle, lube that handle because it's about to get really, really used. We get some hill
WD-40 out.
I get the
The grease.
Somebody put the plumber on speed dial.
Right.
Just pay him for the week.
Yeah. Who's open at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night here?
Tom's got a lawyer on retainer. We got a plumber on retainer.
Yeah, Mark. Yes, this is where we throw out a as far as who's sponsoring us. What's a lube sponsor?
What's
Jiffy
the name
Lube.
of them? Jiffy. That's the one with Super Tech Lube at Walmart. My preferred brand for all my cars.
We should do that. We should add a sound bit. We're sponsored by a lube.
This next flash brought to you
You know,
by...
our products and reach out to us on Instagram to sponsor. We were kind of right up there, right up their alley.
All right, we're flipping the record over. Jim Mastia. He's been waiting in the bullpen for 8 years. He's been playing in the minors. He's been working his way up. He's been working his way up from single A. Not even that, he was in the freaking independent league with the Schaumburg Boomers. Ended up somehow getting called into single A. Then worked his way up to the Charlotte Knights. And now his whole family's there to see him play his first major league game. They traveled near and far. They're here. First pitch of his major league debut. This thing just got rocketed out of the park. I'm not even up, and I just terminated it.
I love that. The out of order terminate.
Sorry. Sorry, Jim.
Your executive
Alex, I don't think you even had a
order
terminate.
as,
I think you used it already.
Well, I used to.
Terminate.
Kev, a new world.
I'm just imagining those people. What is it? It's in San Francisco, right, where you can hit it into the water.
Yeah,
people in boats are diving for this ball. It's so far out.
Yeah, it's the rarity. It's just one contribution. It's like everybody knows it sucks, but they need it in the collection.
The manager walks out there after one pitch. The manager's taking his hand off, swatting some flies. That's it. Guy gets a ball.
This is dark, but that makes me. This is a deep cut Cubs reference. But anybody, just look up Adam Greenberg. Do some googling and look up Adam Greenberg. The guy spent his whole life in the minors. His first major league at bat, first pitch beamed in the head, career over. That's the song.
Oh, I remember that story.
I'm sorry, it's dark, but I
remember that.
Hey, this is supposedly a dark album for
We're just walking the path Tom led us on.
Chris, don't tell me this is your one-eyed possum, please. What do you got?
No. This is going. I think I'll flesh this one because the other's one I hate a little bit more. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't hate it enough to totally kill it off. Yeah.
I just did the out of order T.
Sorry, the story really warmed me up.
Yeah, Alex is using his executive position as the head of this segment.
I used my Disney Fast Pass on that one. All right. Well, since I went, this goes to Mark. A New World.
I am trying very hard to look this up. If we're talking deep cut performances, I'm surprised you didn't go there, Alex, as a Packer fan. This is the Tyler Bray performance of the Chicago Bears where the third stringer comes in. And you thought Trubisky sucked. You thought Foles sucked. Well, let's watch Tyler Bray throw the ball. Guy's throwing preschool throws out there. If you're not American, you like football, just believe me, it's like the worst. There's some soccer equivalent, I'm sure. It's just the worst of the worst of
What
Bears
do I type
quarterbacking.
in?
Cordell Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler
Wait,
Bray
what's-
Bears. Cordell
Tyler,
Stewart.
how do you say his last name?
Tyler Bray. The guy's just shucking the ball way out of bounds. That's what this moment is for him. Finally everybody's been clamoring for the guy because it's just the Bears backup QB and everything. And then he finally gets the field and he just sucks. So much for that.
Look
In the words of Les Grobstein.
Look at this stat line. 1 for 5.
Yeah, we've had enough of him. 18 yards. Probably a lucky catch anyway. I think that's his whole career, too. He threw a pass in Kansas City, and that was it. He threw a pass. Yeah, you're bold. That's the equivalent of this guy. He ends his career 1 for 6.
Holy shit. Oh, man.
Goodbye. I haven't even been keeping score on this one. Kevin, what'd you do with this?
The best part.
The guy's working at the Des Plaines Honda. Okay.
Look at his Kansas City stat. 0 for 1. Oh wait, he lost a fumble too.
On top of all that, he still manages to suck even more.
Shit. Okay, track
That's
7.
this song, the Tyler Bray of the world.
Track 7.
Who I didn't really ring that one up. I was having so much fun.
Sorry.
Kevin, what'd you do on this one? Did you flush it?
I did.
Holy shit.
Technical difficulties here, folks.
Take a lap.
Yeah.
Chris, what did you do? Did you flush this one?
Which one? What, to be a man?
A new one.
Oh,
even know where we're at.
I already flushed it. I think that, this is the
Yeah.
second.
No,
one.
I didn't score it because I've been not paying attention.
Just
Go on. Kevin, what'd you do on
It
this
can
one?
join.
It was the T.
It was the T. Okay.
Yeah,
To
oh,
be
yeah,
a
we're
man,
unordered, yeah.
finally.
Yeah, where are we at on this one? Kev, to be a man.
Oh man, what more is there to say?
Yeah, Chris?
Yeah, it can join the last two in hell with more fire. Yeah, so yeah, let's terminate that sucker. Yeah, Tom doesn't know what it is to be a man. Here's some kind of nerdy knowledge that maybe only you guys will appreciate. Yeah.
So I actually really don't use Spotify for streaming music. I'm a snob, and I appreciate my high-res audio streaming, so I subscribe to the service Qobuz, which is much like a Tidal, so I can listen to my high-res versions of these albums. And Third Stage is actually up there in high-res. And I was listening to this album, and for some reason I was having issues where some stuff wasn't loading because it was just such a high resolution file that it wouldn't even play it. And for some reason it kept skipping over this song, and I was actually happy about it. I didn't need to hear it. So it went from a new world right into I think I like it, and I'm like, well, I kind of wanted to listen to that song for the show, but I don't. It's fine actually. Just it flushed. Get it out of here.
Out of all of the garbage on this album, this is the one that I saved my rant for.
Oh,
so
man.
it can get nothing more than a T.
Oh, this is where Mark just unleashed the torpedoes.
my second T. We've got Hiroshima and we've got Nagasaki. Sorry to our Japanese listeners. We threw two of them at you.
Oh, no. Okay, let's speed through the rest here. Let's sneak out the back door. I think I like a track, eh, Kevin?
We're not going to have any Like the Sky
We're trying
live
to
at
sneak out the
Budokan.
back door because we're the only fans left at the show, and we're just trying to think of ways to leave without insulting the band. That's where we are.
I'm just going to keep the flush train going, to be honest with you.
No, I am not going to do that. I did kind of. I think I like it. Yeah, I think I did.
All right.
I am right there with you, Chris. As much as I kind of do not like the southern rock slide guitar kind of coming. It's kind of like when Motley Crue started incorporating the slide on Girls, Girls, Girls. I'm like, I know it kind of makes sense to the whole leather biker shtick that they got going on here, but I didn't actually like it. But they started doing that a little bit more on Dr. Feelgood, and I appreciated it there, but I didn't like it on Girls, Girls, Girls. And I don't really like it here, but it's catchy enough for me. And actually, they brought in an outside songwriter to co-write this one. So, I don't know.
Maybe where that's that punkish line comes from. That does not sound Boston at all.
Tom can say it's just so Tom can blame somebody else for stealing any way you want it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
So, to Mark, right?
Yeah, Mark.
The drums alone are deserving of a flush, so.
Okay.
I just can't think of.
It's so bad. It's like they were programmed by somebody who had not heard drums before,
or who hadn't. That's what you do in '82 when you're figuring out the drum machine.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Okay, and we're on to our last two. Can't You Say You Believe in Me / Still in Love. /
I think the title alone is worth a flush. Look at that garbage, messed up title.
That is so 90s, by the way. Ahead of their time, I guess.
Everything about that is irritating, so that gets the flush.
A pioneer in title structure. That's I think that says it all.
Chris, what do you think?
It's funny. I typically keep around songs where I really like the chorus, but I say I have a lot of negative stuff written in my comments, so I'm going to flush this. Yeah.
Is Alex going to be the first one to dial the plumbers, or is he keeping this around?
I know, this one's sitting at the edge of the bowl. This one just squeaks by. It's enough where I feel like stakes are low here, and it's stuck in my head as we speak. So that's I'll give it the light squeeze on this one.
Okay.
Even though it did remind me of Styx, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But where are we at here? Sorry, I lost my order already. Mark.
I'm up.
Mark.
I'm tempted, but I just have to push this into the bowl. It's got a decent guitar line, a lead line, but we know Boston can do that, and they've done it so many other times, much better than this. I don't know why I would go back to this one. Honestly, I'm kind of blending the last two together. I'm not sure which lead guitar line I'm thinking of, if it's Holly Ann or Can't You Say.
I know what you mean, actually.
All right, last song, Holly Ann. And before I bring it to Kev, one thing we didn't actually talk about in the song that I did write a note about, but I didn't mention it. Not sure your guys' thoughts, but kind of the vintage first album-esque organ solo at the end of the song. How did you guys feel about that? I guess that means you don't remember.
I said it. I don't know if that was it just at towards the end where that.
Yeah, like that was like the only time on the album where they started kind of throwing in that old like smoking-esque organ solo at the end. I think it was farther back. This part.
Yeah, I had.
I like the bass playing.
I thought. Yeah, I wrote that. Yeah, I thought it felt a little out of place. I mean, it's interesting, but it did. Yeah, but it didn't kind of. Interesting, but it was like, let's be different here. But it's like we're just kind of like adding fruit to a salad. Yeah, where it's like
Chris doesn't like that. He doesn't like.
I don't want strawberries or oranges with my lettuce and tomatoes. Like, just forget that stuff. Yeah, forget it. Yeah, like no, there's a very clear.
Leave it at the door.
All right. So what does that mean? Are you flushing? Oh, I'm sorry, Kev. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Alex, I will say that you brought up the intro a little bit for me, and I might have forgiven this song a lot more had it been, maybe even ballad number 2. But I think
they're burned out.
Opening with Amanda and closing with Holly Ann, that is just like, God, that is on a list of things that I will just hate forever. It sounds like 2000s Frontiers AOR band Desperation. So it's going to get the.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we are getting there. Oh, Canada. And God
Chris?
rest ye.
I'm going to use my one highly superficial love for this one. Yeah, I did keep coming back to it. It's like sucking on like a lifesaver. It's like it's bad for you, but it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one around too. There's enough catchy, like it's catchy. It gets stuck in my head. Yes, it's nothing impressive. It's diet, but I don't know. Coming out of those 6, 7, and 8.
All that nonsense.
Or whatever it is, all that 5, 6, and 7 spot. Like I don't know, just like I said, the mediocre stand kind of shines a little bit more here. So I'll give it a love on this one.
A warm blanket of familiarity.
Yeah, exactly. That is what that is. That is exactly right.
You're selling me on it. Like it's just being the last one to go here is, I guess, fitting. I don't know. I really want to keep it. What is?
Gina,
let's get that out of my ears.
What was that?
The Frontiers band you got up there?
Sunstorm.
Sucks.
I'm sure it's some kind of. Don't tell me that's Jolyn Turner or something. Is that? Guy's everywhere. Is that him? I'm just throwing that out there.
God, I love that. That couldn't be more of a Frontiers album cover. Yeah.
Gina, flush it.
Oh, killed it. Okay.
If it even remotely inspired continuing the trend of mediocre albums named after women that didn't exist.
Yeah, Mark, did you use 2 Terminates or 2 buys?
I went 2 Terminates, A New World, and To Be a Man.
Oh, gotcha.
Alex
Okay.
used 2 Terminates for some reason, but I think I'm just going to let that one go.
In the spirit,
The momentum
spirit of the
carried him
evening,
into a Terminate. The Mo.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt the Mo.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta improvise a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, that closes it out. Anybody score changing? We got a 6 and a 5.5.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'll drop it to a. What do I want to do? I think I'll drop it to a 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got a whole point out of it.
Yeah.
Originally, I was going to go with 6 because technically I liked 6 songs on this album. But then I'm like, well, I just terminated 2 songs. Like, that's got to drop it down a little bit. That's why I went down to the 5.5, and I thought that was even generous. Do I bring it down to a 5 as well?
Are they loves or are they pokes?
Yeah, a lot of them are pokes, actually. Honestly, there's like one real love on this record.
We're ready, right? Cool the engines.
Cool the engines.
We're ready.
I think I like it.
That one. Like, if I had a second buy, believe it or not, I would have probably picked I Think I Like It, just because it was like, it's really stuck in my head this week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's drop it down to a 5.
Oof.
The best this could do.
Really
Could pull just the middle of the road.
Yeah, no passing grade, I guess.
No.
Yeah.
No passing grade for this one. Just pretend it. Is that the first flush? No, I'm sure we've had Saint Anger and stuff. So
Yeah.
I wonder if this one averages out to be worse. But honestly, like if you're still around with us, because I know that nobody who really loves this album is going to stick around this long. But thanks. Like I really appreciate just the patience in dealing with our opinions on this. And we will try to be better. We will try to love your favorite band a little bit more. 1994's Walk On. To be honest, I'm looking forward to it. I feel like maybe he needed to purge the demons, maybe. And just the 80s weren't for him, and we could just get back. Because you know, like, one thing that makes Chinese democracy work, I think, is that you skipped the 90s, and in 2008, Guns N' Roses was, like, hair metal was kind of becoming in vogue again, and it worked, I think. Even though GNR kind of transcends that whole thing. But maybe, you know, skipping 86 and just going right to 94 would help. I'm hoping it does. So, not to end on such a somber note, but I feel like I'm announcing the death of somebody, and it just might be this band because we got
a new singer on this next record.
Yeah,
that's right.
Oh boy,
that's right. Well, we'll see if he's any better than Brad. If he can, I don't know. The pipes of Freddie Mercury might not have even saved Third Stage for me, but we'll see you next time. See you then.